Hi, everybody. Dave Clark from InspectCheck.net and HomeInspectorTrainingOnline.com. Welcome to our YouTube channel, and we're going to have another training today. And like I always tell you, I love showing things that I didn't know right away, and I had to learn through the years. So, you know, as home inspectors, we're generalists, and there's no way we could know every single thing. I've got that video that a lot of people like says, I don't know. So it's never a shame to say, yeah, I really don't know, but I will find out and I'll get back to you. This was one of those in my home inspection career that I saw. So I'm going to put it up. Let me share my screen with you. I'm going to put it up and let's talk about it. And here we go. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And so let me give you a little background on this picture. Some of you might know right away what it is. Give you a little background. This is coming off of a boiler, hot water baseboard. And the boiler is, I'm pretty sure it's in this direction, but it really, for the sake of this training, it doesn't really matter. What you can't see, you can see here possibly, I think, that is coming from a radiator. We'll just put an arrow that way. And then there's another pipe over here that's off the picture that's going to baseboard radiator. So the pipe branches off and then it comes back around through here. You know, the radiator, will say for the sake of argument, is up here. So when I first looked at this, I said, gee, okay, it's hot water baseboard, got it. Just wondering why that is there. Why that's there. And this was, many years ago. And I did some research on it and found out that that's a monoflow or diverter T, monoflow valve or diverter T valve, which is actually a great idea. So let's think about this for a minute. What this does is, so the hot water goes out, but some of the hot water, and I'll use red so you can see it better. Some of the hot water remains here and continues on. So it's not taking all of the hot water. It comes back in here and blends back in with the cooler water. So if you look at a hot water baseboard system, and the closest one to the boiler itself is going to be the hottest radiator. I mean, that's just the way it is, or baseboard. And then the further you get away, it's going to be cooler. It's giving off its heat. So that just makes sense, right? So in a conventional system, it doesn't have this, we'll say, the water at this point here is going to be cooler, and we'll just use blue, than the water here, right? This is going to be hotter and it's going to be cooler. In this case, it's kind of a blend, they're blended together. And so it doesn't give off all of its heat. It's a great way to install a system, especially a one loop. And it could be multiple zones too, or multiple loops if you have a large property, a large house. But in this case, it was just a smaller house, but it was one loop. And we know that the last radiator or baseboard in that loop is going to be, I'm not going to say cold, but it's definitely not going to be as hot as the first one. This helps even that out, and it's a passive system. You don't have to do anything. So you don't have to set zone valves or whatever. It just heats the house nicely. And I've heard some installers use a system similar to this for radiant heat, which makes sense. So the radiant heat comes off and it's going to be very, much hotter when it comes right off the boiler. And then as it gets to another part of the house, it's going to lose some of its heat and go down. So that's called a monoflow. We'll continue talking about it. Let me show you. So we call it a diverter T system, or monoflow T diverter. It allows supply of hot water to a radiator and returns cooler water from the same radiator using a single pipe. Also called a one pipe diverting system, which is, a slang, but that's really what it does. The diverter valve sends hot water to the radiator, then returns cooler water back to the supply line where it is mixed with the hotter water. Again, we saw in that picture how the hotter water, did not get to the radiator. It continued on that line. This picture shows a 1/2-inch bypass pipe because the radiator was removed in that case. So that's really because that radiator was taken out. So let's take a look at the actual detail of how this valve works. So using a monoflow T and a one pipe system for a radiator or toe space heater, we get hot water coming into the radiator that goes to the radiator, and the radiator will say, again, just for the sake of argument, is, it's coming in here, it's going to the radiator, and then we'll show it as blue because it's cooler, and it's going to return the cooler water here, and it's going to mix together with the hot water. So this hot water continues straight on, so it's the same temperature, as what it was here, and it's going to come into here and mix, and of course it's not going to be as hot, but it's definitely going to maintain much more heat than if that was coming right off the radiator and that was it. Okay, so the supply from the boiler and the return water to the boiler, or going to another baseboard or radiator. So that's what that is. So if you see this, I'm going to go back here. If you see this, now you know what it is. My client was there, and he had some knowledge, a little bit of knowledge on plumbing. It's, and you look at this, and my first thought is, why would you do this? And this was many years ago, and you're always learning things with home inspections. Not every inspector knows everything. We do our best. And what I told him is, let me take a few pictures of it. Let me take a look at it. And then as I started looking closer, it started making sense. And I was pretty sure I knew what it was, but in this case, I wanted to do a little more research. So I did, and I amended the report and told him it's good, So how would you report on this? And a lot of people would say, a lot of inspectors would say, we don't really need to report on it unless there's a problem, right? Like there's a leak or it's not connected properly. The valve might have been put on backwards, and now we know the right way that it should have gone. But I think that home inspection is a learning process. We're educating our clients. And I think that not only bad things or defects should be in the report, I think good things should also be in the report too. So let's take a look at some how I would, what would I do to report this? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my report right now. Close that. And close this. Let me go right over to my report, which is right here. Okay, so now you see it. And we would go into the heating section. Again, in this case, very simple, location. In this case, it was in the basement, so mark it complete. The distribution is going to be hydronic, right? And it's going to be hot water baseboard, of course. And you would use this for the actual unit itself. How did it look if there was an issue? But in this case, I'm going to go down to supply return, and we can see that there's many different things here. And if we had issues of damage to the pipes, unknown, things like that, unsatisfactory zone valves, we could do that. But in this case, we wouldn't have to worry about it. But the condition will say the pipes are in good shape. I would put satisfactory, and I would write in here and you can make it a monoflow or diverter T, but we'll go with monoflow. Monoflow system is installed. This will increase efficiency. So that's a good thing, right? So down here, mark that complete. So the client will look at that and say, okay, well, that's great. This will increase the efficiency of the system. Fantastic. So I like doing that too. Like I said, putting things that are good in the house, and maintenance things also, not just, defects. We're not just there just for defects. We're there for a learning experience. So I hope that helped you. I know that stumped me the first time I saw it, and had to do my own research on it, but hopefully that'll help you out. And we'll have these links on our YouTube channel, and homeinspectortrainingonline.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you're going to be the first one to get these videos. We're doing these videos along with our newsletter. The newsletter gets a lot of great feedback, but we always get people that say, boy, can you make a video of that, or maybe show how something's working? And so we are doing that, and we think that that's something that will really help you out there in the field. And I hope you found this informational, and hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.